Hello everyone, my name is Lowko, and welcome to a best of 7 series of top level StarCraft 2. It's time for a Terran versus Zerg, where we're starting off on the map Rainfall. Now spawning right here in the upper left, playing in blue, joined by the Polar Bear on the main command center, we have none other than Clem. Down on the bottom right, the Zerg player from South Korea that's been impressing me the most lately. We have Ragnarok. Now, Ragnarok recently changed his username from SHIN back to Ragnarok, the ID that he used to play under for many, many years. And for some reason, it's almost given him like a second wind. He seems to be playing a little bit more confidently. He seems to just be playing more aggressively across the board. And even though it's the exact same player, and it's just a name change, he's been playing some phenomenal StarCraft as of late. Problem for him, though, is that he's going up against the world's #1 Terran. At the very least, statistically, Clem is pretty much unbeatable in this matchup. He's the only player that Serral is really struggling against regularly. And obviously, Serral is another Zerg player too. So, honestly, in any TVZ, I am automatically favoring Clem just because Clem is an absolute monster. Now, he doesn't play the spiciest builds in this matchup. And that's exactly why he's so difficult to beat. He doesn't really cheese. He doesn't really play mech. He doesn't really go for any form of, like, I don't know, like triple command center all in. He's just happy to play the macro game in and game out, and it's extremely difficult to take him down. Really, the only thing that I've seen him struggle with, maybe a little bit, is like a long series and like the fatigue that comes with it. Like, if this series goes on for a long time, there's a chance that Clem's micro gets a little bit more sloppy, like an hour to like an hour and a half into a match, but really, like, that is something that is obviously very difficult to play into for Ragnarok here, because he would have to also likewise play a very long, drawn-out macro series then, and obviously that is not easy for any human. Maybe one day, the robots will take over, but until then, the limitations of the flesh will be problematic. Triple hatch opener right here for the Zerg with a very quick lair. Ragnarok actually leaving. I'm going to call him Ragnarok, by the way, because he changed his username from SHIN back to Ragnarok. I guess we'll go with that. He's leaving the drones and gas. Roach War now hiding as well behind the natural expansion. Could be macro. Could also be a pretty aggressive Roach push. Since there's no evolution chamber, I think we're just going to try and get a quick Roach speed going. Could also technically still be a Spire build. Spire build's not super popular lately. I mean, we have been seeing Zerg players mix them in, but I just don't really think it's a great build against Clem. Clem is just... I mean, I'm just apparently spending the first 4 minutes of this game fanboying, but seriously, Clem really is pretty much impossible to beat in this matchup. So let's see where it goes. It's a double Rex start, actually, here for the Frenchman. So it does mean that we're not going to get a whole lot of Hellions out on the map. It's just going to be this little squad of units, mostly designed here to roam around to the edges of the creep and snipe any of the creep tumors. This is certainly not a squad that is designed to drive into a mineral line and then hope for the best. +1 carapace coming up, together with the Roach speed upgrade here for Rag. So, indeed, he is just using this as like a... I guess a stepping stone. A stepping stone to get into a triple base economy reasonably safely. But upon scouting this, well, Clem has gone for a pretty quick land on the low ground too. Apparently there's a party going on in the forest. They're playing the Jimmies. Wow. The Ewoks are going crazy over here, man. There's like a Goliath on the floor. My god. This place is pretty wild. This particular series, by the way, is from the Team Liquid Map Contest Tournament. So this is indeed going to be a set of games played on the brand new maps. We've seen Rainfall quite a bit. Seems to be a map that's popular with the pros. First big attack, though, coming in right here for Clem. Yeah, he's got to be a little bit careful. He doesn't have those Hellions that you normally have when you go for a, well, standard opener with Terran. Look at this, actually. SHIN just targeting down a single, okay, a single supply depot there. And now he's committing with a bit of a counter-attack as well with the Roaches. This is a funky opener here for Ragnarok because he's actually droning for the most part behind all of this. But is there even really enough for Terran to properly clean this up? Like, you gotta respect the Roach, man. Roaches are like one of those units that nobody ever really cares about. Like, Terrans are like, it's a Roach, whatever. But when they suddenly appear in large numbers, like now Ragnarok is kind of kicking himself that he didn't make another 20 of them. He could have. I think Clem would have been super dead. Bit of a wake-up call right there for the Terran. Now, this is still a pretty good position, though, for Rag, who's now going to be able to saturate the third base fully. And apparently that's going to be his cue to now go into a fourth hatch. The creep over on the left side of the map, though, is already spreading very nicely. If you're not careful here as Clem, it is going to gobble up the entire map really soon. Interestingly enough, though, with the creep being the way that it is, I would have assumed that Ragnarok would take this as his fourth base. It just makes a lot more sense. Right now, Clem still has a lot of pushing potential, but I guess Ragnarok feels like he is going to be able to clean up this amount of Marines easy peasy anyways. Yeah. Clem is like, yo, I've got the men with guns. I'm going to use Stimpak. I'm just going to stand there and fire. And Ragnarok is like, okay, cool. Interesting. Empty medevac scout over here for the Terran. He will indeed spot now that the fourth hatchery is done. Or, well, not quite done, but finishing. And there's nothing he can do to address this at all. So instead, we're going to go into a second factory. And I'm assuming a fourth command center very quickly too. What's a little odd though here for Rag is that yes, he's been safe on 3 bases. Yes, he's got a pretty fast fourth, but he's not been making drones for it at all. This is what I'm talking about lately. With Ragnarok finding a second wind, he's now gonna go for a very committed attack. And this reminds me of the way that Dark used to play. Like technically it doesn't make a lot of sense. But what in the world is Terran gonna do about it? This is just so many Zerg units. Medevac drop has to go back home ASAP. Third command center is actually just gonna get boiled down at this rate. Siege tank on the high ground. Sniped as well. Yeah, Dark has been in the military for a while, but he seems to be with Ragnarok in spirit lately. He'll be back, by the way, by the end of the year, I believe. I believe his military service is done in, like, October or so. Something along those lines. I am fully expecting for Dark to return. He's still playing quite a bit of ladder on the weekends, and he's still active on social media and all the rest of it, so I'd be very surprised if Dark decides to, not go back. Nah, there's no way. He seems to be missing the game quite a bit, which is always nice to see, but Ragnarok almost like taking a page out of Dark's book. Really just committing now. Like, he sees an opportunity, and while maybe technically the perfect strategy would be to put down an infestation pit, go into a lurker den, build up a hive, maybe that in theory would all be correct. But what about you just send a ridiculous amount of Roach Ravager Zergling across? Every Terran player has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Maybe... I don't know if that quote really applies to StarCraft as well, but Ragnarok is showing us that maybe we don't have to be too fancy all of the time. This is, by the way, effectively like a 3-base all-in here for SHIN. So him committing to this small of an economy and this many units is a little bit sketchy, because even if Clem cleans it up right now, it is still something that he can actually recover from. Triple mule production is real good, but I think Ragnarok just has too many units, man. Double Evo chamber upgrades too, just like the good old days. A medevac there gets sniped. And I think, even though the hatchery here on the right side is no longer around, I think with just this amount of unit production, yeah, Clem is just kind of dead. Like, what is he gonna do about this? The corrosive balls are forcing the liftoff as well on the orbital. Now more and more SCVs are pulled. And I think Clem is having a bit of a moment here where he's realizing, wait a second, I messed up. But, like, where exactly did this go wrong? Can you even really pinpoint, like, one specific moment in this game where it did not go according to plan? Difficult to do, but it's Ragnarok who wins game number 1, and he makes it look easy. Okay, next up, we find ourselves on the map Wave Breaker. That game started off pretty promisingly for Clem. I mean, I hyped him up for the better part of 5 minutes. And, yeah, then he just sort of died. Oh, no. The caster curse. Let's see what Ragnarok... Actually, the scoreboard is wrong here. There we go. Let me fix it. Let's see what... Ooh, nice little snipe over there with a single Reaper. Let me see what Ragnarok can do this time around. Oh, no. What? Why did we get... What? He, I guess, tried to go to the left here to snipe the drone that was likely going to go into the third base location. A little bit of a strange interaction here. It's weird for Ragnarok to lose a drone to a Reaper, but then likewise as well for the Queens to just kill the Reaper on the first try. Still, though, a favorable exchange right here for Terran, all things considered, but he doesn't know about the lack of a third hatchery for Ragnarok at this point in time. What is Ragnarok cooking up lately, right? So we're prioritizing extra Queens, and then a really quick lair. No third, no quick second gas, 4 Queens into a lair on 2 bases. It's funny, right? Because a lot of Zerg players have been, like, at the highest level, they have been struggling quite a bit against Terran, it seems. Serral has come up with this extremely complex way to deal with late-game Terran. Ultimately, the roads do lead to, like, a pretty standard, like, Ultralisk type of late game, but the way in which he's getting there is a little bit odd. It's very complex. A lot of spellcasters and a lot of movement across the map, and apparently Ragnarok has decided to just go the exact opposite direction. Like, rather than trying to overcomplicate things, we're going back to basics again. This really does remind me of the way that StarCraft 2 used to be played in early Wings of Liberty. Now, this time around, we don't have a Roach Warren, so I'm guessing this is 2-base lair? Yeah, we're gonna put it over here. We're waiting, I think, for the Overlord to drop a little bit of creep. Yep. Dude, seriously, I haven't seen this in ages. Can you plant it? No. Okay, well, that's a little bit unlucky. Yeah, I don't think you can plant it right smack dead in the middle of that deck. But it's okay, you know, the thought counts. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, do you really want to have an exhaust pipe right underneath your spire? Well, you know what? I'm gonna stop that line of thought. Yeah, you know. It is a curiously shaped structure, though, isn't it? Why did they make it, why did they make the spire so phallic? I don't know. Unnecessary, really, when you think about it, but whatever. Baneling nests on the back of this as well. So this is effectively 2-base Muta. Clem is wondering, like, what in the world is going on? He's seen the timing of the third hatch, or the lack of it being done by the time that the Hellions were across the map. So now suddenly Clem knows that it's gonna be something 2-base Zerg, more than likely. What is it going to be, though? Is it going to be a Roach Speed? Is it going to be a Nidus Worm? Is it going to be Mutas? Is it going to be Quick Hive? Is it like, that's the problem here. And I guess that's why it's such a difficult game for Terran to play, because you then just end up in a situation where early on, Zerg is very predictable, but then as soon as the lair is done, Zerg has about a dozen viable options. Now, first off, apparently we're going to send the men with the guns across the map. They do have Stimpack. 1-1, though, and combat shields are still a ways behind. A scan mostly just to get rid of the creep tumors. I quite like it. Mutas are out, though. Did Clem actually see, maybe, within the scan, like, the tail end of one of those Mutas? Did he catch one of them? Spire is done. Yeah, this army's not going home. But he's targeting down. He's targeting down the Mutas. Speed Circle actually coming in handy. I still think this is a much better spot, though, here for the Zerg. Like, yeah, you lose a couple Mutas here. But ultimately, 2 medevacs full of units is quite significant. No protection yet over here. Wait a second. We saw the Mutas and didn't make a missile turrets yet? Siege Tank is also actually in a little bit of trouble. Clem desperately trying to keep it alive. Maybe it's better to just reposition the tank, but it seems like he's going to be okay. Mass drone production on the back of this, and I'm assuming we're going to see, yeah, a 4th hatchery as well. Makes a lot of sense. So, Ragnarok grabs the map advantage. At this point, control here on the map is for him. But Clem's position here is not that bad. Like, one of the big advantages you get against Muta openers like this, as a Terran player, is the upgrade timing. So if you compare 1-1 right here for a Terran compared to the Zerg, right? Like, it's a big difference. Obviously, once 3-3 is done, it doesn't really matter so much, but especially like a maxed out 2-2 timing attack for Terran can deal a lot of damage, so that will be something that's going through Clem's mind right now. He has to be on top of the 2-2 starting, though, for any of that to be even remotely relevant, so I'm hoping that we're going to be seeing that fired up here with the infantry level 1 done. Still preoccupied. Armory also just now finished. And there's the +2. Okay. +2 drilling claws. We're gonna go even into the +1 attack as well for those siege tanks. +2 armor for the infantry units too. Okay, so this is all very sharp here for Clem. So these upgrades on the right side here are all roughly going to finish up right around the same time. And that should also be right around the time that Clem is maxed. Second factory again. Ooh, Thor. Okay. 4th command center as well. I would imagine we're gonna see some Baneling roll-by attempts here, but not quite yet. Clem sneaking out a couple medevacs, though, full of units towards the other side is scary. Mutas did not catch it. This army is going to be able to snipe the base, and this is risky from Clem, but I like it. No cancel. Okay. That's 325 minerals down the drain. Now we have a secondary Terran army also moving out to try and aid this first batch, but is this the right call? One of the medevacs already died. Another Muta here does fall as it's trying to chase whatever it can. That secondary army came in from the rescue, or for the rescue, only ended up saving about half the units that moved out. Another medevac, though, caught in the middle of the map. Ooh, Mutas! Okay, nice stim there from Clem, but ultimately it's only one Muta there getting added into the mix. Infestation pit will be fired up right now. Yeah, I was gonna say, you should not be showing the timing of that. It does not make it any better for the Terran to give them that free info. Well, it does make it better for the Terran. That's exactly what you want to try and avoid. Seeing the timing of the infestation pit would have been a very clear indicator that indeed the hive is not yet ongoing. And it's actually going to slow down the Zerg's 3-3 for a while too. Clem sees it right now. So much like that armory being a few seconds late for Clem, the hive is going to be a few seconds late here for Ragnarok. Because when 2-2 is done, he will not be able to go smoothly into 3-3. Effectively stretching that advantage that Clem will have. So Clem now maxed out. His upgrades are all finishing. This is a really scary attack that Ragnarok does not really know about. He's chasing around this group of Marines on the right, but the real attack is happening on the left. Loads of Banelings coming up, though. Oh. Good splitties. Very good splits. Oh, big Zergling counter-attack. Okay. There's a lot of units here at home as well, though, for the Terran player, and that is a Zergling meat grinder and a half. What about the Banelings? What about the Banelings? Okay. I thought Clem was looking at it, but he must have been preoccupied on the left side of the map. That's now going to force a full evacuation of the third. Terran army actually has to go back home. Okay. So it turns out the best defense is the offense. Once more. Weirdly enough, I think Ragnarok didn't really have a good way of dealing with that army on the left side of the map at all. But committing to the counterattack, using that advantage of speed, certainly working out for him. And now, by the way, he's going to be able to even up those upgrades really nicely. Clem a little bit slow here as well on the 3-3 start. Looks like Rag is even going to sacrifice some of the Mutas here just to snipe at least one of the NG base. Is he going to go for the second one too? He will. Thor desperately trying to hit whatever it can, but this is going to slow down the Terran tremendously. Oh, he's even going to go after the armory. Wow. Contamination for just a moment. Just to make sure that the upgrade wouldn't be finishing halfway to him destroying it. And that right there was a really nice sequence of events for Ragnarok. Again, very reminiscent of Dark. It's something that Dark would do. Yeah, and now suddenly, this game has actually kind of entered untreaded waters. Like, where do you go from here as Clem? Like, your economy is mostly good. Your upgrades are mostly good. All of your stuff is kind of okay. But at the same time, you don't really have anything going for yourself. Normally, you want to look at least one of the upgrades, right? Like, one of the advantages. His army is big, I guess. But it's mostly Marines now. Creep spread is lacking over here, though, on the left side of the map. And I think pushing on this side is smart. Thor getting a nice little volley off as well. 6 confirmed kills on that bad boy. Wouldn't be surprised if they're pretty much all Muta kills. Widow Mines are also setting up a field over here that makes it difficult for the Ling Bane army to engage. Marauder in the front trying to tank some of the damage. A bunch of Banelings do roll into it. Counterattack here of a Zergling yet again trying to be annoying. Ultra Cavern coming, but those upgrades are still ages away. Now 3-3 is in favor, though, of Ragnarok, but is not yet done. Does he want to chase this army off creep? He does chase this army off creep. Overseers actually do attach onto all of those Widowmine shots, and Clem takes a bunch of friendly fire from his own army. If SHIN can actually get, like, maxed out Ultralisks out, he's going to be in a phenomenal position. Big counterattack again. Lovely detonation right there for Clem. Hatchery, in the meantime, on the left side of the map also dies. This game has now turned into an absolute bloodbath. It used to be a gentleman's TVZ. No longer. This is what is scaring me, though, for Clem. Like, these upgrades, once Ultras hit the battlefield, there's no Liberators. There's no 3-3 upgrades on the Marauders. There's no Ghosts. Ultras are gonna chomp them to bits. This fight on creep is not ideal for the Terran at all, man. Look at the difference that creep makes. Yeah, we can try and get the nice splits off, but it's irrelevant to the fight. Because you need to be fighting the Zerg on their bases right now. Just trading evenly is not the goal. The clock is ticking, and I think Clem knows it. Like, he hasn't seen it, but it smells like Ultralisks right now. Right? Like, when there's smoke, there's fire. He will scout the outer expansions, but he's going to be very disappointed when the big chompers hit the battlefield. Okay. Upgrades are almost done. Good timing as well, actually, for that. For the South Korean Zerg player here. Hatchery on the left side gets cancelled yet again. The Zergling run by on the right side of the map. No planetary, of course, in this location. Muta's trying her absolute best. I think we'll probably see SHIN try to max out now and then send in the boys. This is not a Terran economy that has been really sufficient to go into like a second starport or like a ghost transition. So he's kind of awkwardly making a Liberator here at a time, fair enough. So Clem does know, right? He may not have seen the Ultras, but he knows that Ultras are going to be the next step. You wouldn't be making a Liberator right now against Mutaling Bane. A couple of units over here on the left side of the map also get sniped for free. Widowmine does detonate. Overseer there being a little bit of a nuisance. I think it's about time we send in the Chompers. Yeah. More Chompers are finishing. These will be the most Ultralisks that we have seen in some time, I believe. That 3-3 is on the horizon now, though. It may have gotten denied a couple times, but if SHIN goes right now, he's waiting for another batch of Banelings. He may be able to take the fight with a double upgrade advantage. Oh, it's going to be real close. Like, he doesn't know how close it is. He's chasing this army right now. Clem has no choice but to fight. I think he's mostly okay, though. The upgrades are going to be done, yeah. And that is a very unfortunate setup right here for Ragnarok, but a good thing for Clem. Still, though, he just doesn't have the right units. He's got a lot of other units, but not the troops you really need to be countering Ultras. GG. What a game. Game number 3. We find ourselves on Blackrock. Ragnarok, man. Absolute monster. Really stepping up his game lately. Do we play back-to-back Muta builds, though? I don't think so. I wonder if it was actually a reaction to Clem losing his first Reaper. Like, maybe it wasn't even the original goal. Then he decided, you know what, I guess I have a perfect opportunity right now to leave my opponent in the dark. Like, technically, it's an advantage for Terran to kill a single drone for a single Reaper, but you do really want to keep that Reaper alive for a little bit longer. Right, if you get the confirmation, this is again a problem here, man. If you get a confirmation that the opponent built a third hatch, you kill a drone, and then you lose the Reaper, I think it's an advantage for Terran. But right now, Clem is going to be in the dark yet again. Quick lair. Super quick lair. Yeah, a lot of Zerg players have conditioned themselves to pull out of gas. Sorry. No, but seriously, they always pull out of the extractor, and then they purposefully delay the timing of the lair, right? Ragnarok, though, decided to like leave the drones in gas, I think in every game so far, which is giving him a little bit more flexibility. It's going to be a Roach Warren this time. But all of this is shaking up the early game for Zerg quite a lot. Yeah, what's quite interesting, I think, is that for Terran, likewise as well for Protoss, there is like a go-to S-tier build order, right? Like if you think of all of the possible strats in like a tier list, I think Terran and Protoss have S-tier builds. I don't think Zerg has any real S-tier builds right now, but they have like 8 A-tier builds. And while Zergs are desperately around the world looking for like what their very best strategy is in each of the matchups, I don't really think there is one, because all the top level Zergs are just doing something else a little bit differently, right? Whereas like for Protoss, it's pretty much always going to be Oracles into Blink Stalkers, and for Terran, it's like a triple command center, 1-1-1 with Heli and Banshee, right? Like it's that normal standardized style, but for Zerg, there's technically a lot of options, and while none of them seem to be head and shoulders above the others, that seems to be the real strength. Like, maybe the S-tier build for Zerg is variety. I don't know. But I do believe that it's probably suboptimal to be playing the same build over and over and over again. What is going on here, by the way? Like, what is this? Did Ragnarok go to school with Hero? Did they go to the same evening class where they learned how to wall off? Like, what is this? Scanning the main base, by the way, and Clem does not hit the correct one. This is a Roach all-in that Ragnarok is saving up right now. Clem will see the Roach already, the Roach is already getting their speed upgrade real soon. He killed 2 drones only, by the way. 2 drones only is really not good enough. This is not a Banshee opener here for Clem either. Clem is in a world of trouble. He will be able to finish up Stimpack by the time that this Roach push hits. Drones on the back of this, though, together with an Infestation Pit. So SHIN really just gonna test the waters for a little bit with the Roaches. He will walk past the Goat, heal Serral, and then I guess we're gonna continue fighting. Now, should we have doubled down on Roach production? Because he's droning and he's getting tech and all the rest of it. But much like that previous game in the series, game number 1, I wonder, man, maybe we should have just... So he's droning, but also simultaneously turning the low HP Roaches into Ravagers. Now there's a second tank out. Single Infestor starts up. Okay. Hive is going to be done, by the way, before Clem is really sure what's even happening in this match. So where are we going, Rack? Like, what is the goal? So we're going +1 missile, but we have no Hydra Den, no Lurker Den. Should we not have gone +1 melee and maybe go into, like, a quick Adrenal glance as soon as we get it to a Hive? Like, this +1 missile is confusing me a bit. Because usually, if you go quick Hive, you're not doing it to play Roaches. Either it's going to be Hydra Lurker or Ultra Ling or something along those lines. But Roaches don't really transition very well into Hive tech at all. So going Roaches together with Hive and then +1 missile? If he goes +2 missile, I'm going to be thoroughly confused. I think it's probably going to be +1 melee on the back of this, but what do I know? No, it's +1 melee. Okay. Makes a lot more sense. Okay. Corrosive Ball, by the way, from the Ravagers is a spell, so it does not benefit from those upgrades. Ravagers themselves, obviously, have quite a bit of damage output too, but spells in StarCraft 2 do not benefit from any sort of upgrades in general. I mean, obviously, there's some spell upgrades specifically for those spells, but they do not benefit from engineering bays or anything like it. Ragnarok, though, did get scanned just now, and Clem knows that Ultras are on the horizon. Ultralisks and Microbial Shroud. Well then, that's the goal. That's what we're cooking up. Fungal! Fungal! Oi, oi, oi! Big fungal here. Well, luckily right there for Clem, he did not get his siege tanks biled. Or the Marines, I suppose. That could have been massively problematic. That fungal was a bad situation. Did Ragnarok get a little bit carried away here? Fungal again, fungal again? Ooh, not quite. Look at this freaking production tab right now. +2 armor, +1 melee. Microbial Shroud. Oh, he canceled it. He canceled Microbial. Okay. That was one of the most cursed production tabs I've seen all year. Oh, yo, 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 yo. Fungal. Oh, God. Clem just barely walks out of the range of that one. Medifex don't really have enough energy, though, to be saving this army anymore. Ragnarok trying to sneak out of 5th base, but this is, I guess, just a reminder as to how confused Clem has been throughout this series. He's finally going to check for it. That base was a free pickoff about a minute ago. Right now, it's no longer really that easy to snipe, but still manageable. Yeah, now he sees it for real, I think. Ultras are already coming, man. One Ravager, or one Infestor rather, dies. Ultras are out, but they don't yet have chitinous plating. Yeah, they're not very ultra at this point. They still tank a bunch of damage, though, but I don't really like that. I think chitinous plating is really what enables those units to be good. There was a little bit of a counterattack as well. 4 SCVs did die. In the meantime, though, 4th Command Center apparently was thinking about heading to the front lines. Not ideal. We'll try and probably grow a little planetary fortress on top of itself in a moment. 5th hatchery over here on the left side of the map will fall. Ah, and that, I guess, is one way to try and get rid of some of those Terrans on your front door. Okay, the rocks get destroyed right here on Blackrock. This is, by the way, the first time I will be having a look here at a nice macro game, it seems, of TVZ moving forward. I've been wondering about it, because this map is so flat. Are siege tanks actually good? Judging by Clem's production, he thinks so. But there's not a whole lot of high ground advantages here. You do have a lot of grass and all that, but... Really? Are we going to try and go single file through this choke? Do Ultras even fit? I think they fit. They probably only need, like, I think they only need 2 squares here. Yeah, I don't... I don't like it, man. Oh, blinding cloud, though. It's hard to see because the map is so green, but a bunch of those siege tanks are disabled. Siege tanks are gonna get chomped on. Corrosive biles are connecting. Clem desperately trying to micro his way out of this situation. My God, what an engagement right there from Ragnarok yet again. Clem is not prepared against Ultras at all. Like, he saw them coming in from a mile away, but he's not really prepared a answer. No Liberator production yet. Very late planetary, by the way. This is a very slow 4th in general. Uncharacteristic macro mistake right there from Clem. I know there's a lot to manage in this game and that it's been a tough series so far in general for him, but he's been looking a little bit lackluster here. I know I'm being very critical, but this is what it takes, man. When you're playing against the top dogs, you're not really allowed to make any sloppy mistakes. Hatchery, by the way, on the left side did live. I'm a bit surprised by it. Thought this expansion would have died ages ago. Also, I would have really assumed Ragnarok to take this as his 5th base, rather than the one that's so exposed. Plenty of Terran units over here. Medevac drop thinking about going in. Good splits right there from the Frenchman. A few of those Vipers were ready to abduct or parasitic bomb, but it's going to be okay. Medevac drop on the upper left, also controlled properly. And at the very least, this has now created a little bit of room for Clem to, like, breathe. He's got himself on 4 bases. He's gone now into at least a little bit of Liberator production. We kind of need to make a decision, though, here as the Terran player soon enough. Like, do we want to go... Good fungal. Do we want to go into mass command center? Do we want to try and make the transition towards, like, a push? Or, like, where do we take this game from here? Because this is a large map. Like, there's a lot of bases on it. I kind of hope that we're going to see a couple command centers queued up here on the production tab now that the Terran player is maxed out. I think that would be the most fun. This map is so sick, by the way. I really do like it. It's a nice map. I don't yet know what, like, at least as of me casting this, I don't know what maps are going to be picked for the next ladder map pool, but I think this map is an absolute no-brainer. Slowbanes. Blinding Cloud as well, by the way. Planetary Fortress just dies. Misbiled? Yeah, I was gonna say that it did not quite get positioned correctly. Fungal? Oh, God. I wonder if it's possible to have, like, a contrasting color for Blinding Clouds. Like, maybe for spell effects in general, but sometimes the maps are very green, right? Like, there's a grassy plain. I mean, it's not that weird for the grass to be green. Last time I checked. Sometimes Blinding Cloud in particular can be a little bit difficult to see. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but maybe it actually would be confusing if the spell effects get changed. So many siege tanks over here, though. Look at this. Ooh, there may not be any high grounds here on Blackrock. Like, literally, there's no high grounds at all other than the main. But you can still wedge your siege tanks here against the minerals and at least be somewhat safe. Zerg can counterattack now at the bottom. Clem decides to try and just rebuild the fort base on location. That seems unnecessarily greedy to me. The push in the upper left will continue for a little bit longer. Ultras are going to try and clean this up. Some Corruptors will be joining the battlefield as well in a moment. But Clem will be deflected once more. My main concern right now here for the Frenchman is the amount of bases that he's got running. Yeah, we've got a Ghost Academy here. Yeah, the eco is decent. We have good upgrades. But again, we're lacking a little bit of something, right? Like, look at Ragnarok taking every base. By the way, Ragnarok really not very focused in this series at all on creep spread, it seems. Like, he's got some of it, but he's not really too busy trying to replace the creep. Now, I understand. Look at this, man. He's at 600 and... This is the first-person view right here of the Zerg. Like, I'm arguing here that his creep spread needs to be a little bit tighter, but he is quite literally at about 10 buttons a second on average in this match. Oh, God. Yeah, he plays with the Diva announcer. Baneling's over here on the left side of your screen rolling in. Clem could not really look away from it. Likewise, SHIN was not gonna look at the explosions, because cool guys don't look at explosions. He may have lost the hatchery over there on the right, but he's now killing a base over here on the left. How does he play with a Diva announcer? I have no idea, man. My current working theory, as we do see some caustic sprays going down, is that Ragnarok is probably a gigantic weep as well on the side. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Maybe, I don't know. But if you ask him what his favorite show is, I feel like the odds of him saying, like, the One Piece, or what, like, I feel like the odds would be pretty big. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. He's been playing with the Diva announcer for, I think, about quite literally, like, a decade. Like, as long as that announcer's been around for. SHIN's been playing with it. You love to see it. It really is kind of a key characteristic right now. Like, everybody knows. It's kind of fun. Hatchery in the far bottom right, though, taken right now by Ragnarok. If anything, it's a gigantic scout. No, a drone transfer will be heading on over here. I was going to say it's just a scout to make sure that Terran hasn't taken it. Looks like Sarah's hanging out on this base as well. Look at the goat. Respect him. Bah. No, that's a sheep. Okay, maybe don't respect him. Well, respect him, but not in the way that I suggested anyways. A couple of spine crawlers coming up right now for SHIN. Yeah, so it is a no-brainer, right? To, like, add more creep spread to this map. Like, it is the one thing, if I can be critical, that is lackluster for SHIN. But he's already juggling so many balls. Like, at some point, you kind of reach your maximum. Right? Like, you can't really... I don't know how good jugglers manage it anyways. I can juggle, like, maybe 2. But yeah, just improve the creep spread. And, quote-unquote, just improve it. And I think you are looking at a pretty much unbeatable Zerg setup. Clem did successfully retake this location on the map. Look at the siege tank count, by the way. We have 12 tanks. 12 tanks is insane. Oh, Fungal onto all of the ghosts here, or at least a lot of them. Now the Banelings are starting to roll through as a lot of the Terran units are derping out. You gotta be careful though here. Siege tanks are getting some really nice shots in. Oh my god, he's just committing. He's got so much money. This is, I guess, the Zerg equivalent of screaming for the Terran to get out of their game. Looks like the orbital command is gonna die now. And I think it's these lads over here. The infested changelings. Pretending that they're real Marines. They told Ragnarok about the exact positioning here of Clem's army. Clem now realizing it. He's been betrayed from the inside out. 7 Ultralisks reinforcing this. My god. An absolute menace. I can't believe I started off this series hyping up Clem for such a long time, only for him to get absolutely decimated. I'm sorry. Hey, look, we have one little high ground here. Huh. Interesting. Is that even intentional? I guess it is intentional. I mean, it's large enough for like 2 tanks to fit side by side, it seems. Here we go again. Here comes the swarm. Blinding cloud preventing the siege tanks here from firing, but also making it impossible for that clump of Marine Marauder to join into the fight. Banelings are just crashing into whatever they can hit. Yeah, and Ragnarok is going to rinse and repeat, man. That's the crazy thing about all of this. Siege tank on the high ground is going to get destroyed. This is a extremely expensive set of units, though, for the Zerg to lose. Can we have a look right here at the army? Yeah. So Clem did end up winning the fight, but Ragnarok is going to be able to trampoline back to max supply real quick. Whereas Clem's economy is basically this. That's his whole economy. So, I mean, there's a little bit of mining happening on the left, too, but that's practically all of it. So, where exactly do you go from here? The Corruptor's now mostly flying out to buy a little bit of time, forcing the Terran army to retreat. No Baneling. Could have been spicy if that was a Baneling. Only 6 medevacs right now remain. Clem is going to try and take another base over here. There are some Banelings over here, though. That's pretty sweet. More creep will be denied. But now Ragnarok is maxed out once more. The medevacs have not really been able to accumulate enough energy to heal up all of those units back to full. And Ragnarok is already ready to fight. Now, his bank has been depleted, though. Is there actually enough for the Zerg player to go ahead and win right now? A disjointed engagement. I don't think I like this fight as much for Zerg, but does it even matter? Fungal, 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 across the crevice, across the rocks! Oh my god. Well, that right there sealed the deal. I do not see how Clem can possibly come back after that. GG. Okay, match point on the Old Sun Temple for Ragnarok. Ragnarok this time around opting for a very fast spawning pool. Now this is a 4-player map. And these 4 links that are out in the middle of the map right now are lost. They've gone in the wrong direction. Well, I guess he was waiting right here to see what the Overlord would notice. And since now the Reaper has been spotted out onto the map, it's going to give an opportunity for those links to actually get in. At this point, though, judging by the timing of the Queen, Clem will know that this is very likely a pool first build. It's really the only thing that makes sense. And even though those Zerglings seemingly were lost earlier, Jimmy was sleeping on the job for just a moment. SCV is going to get the Knight. SCVs have to now be pulled from the main base. Scouting Worker is coming back home to try and see if it can maybe remove the scaffolding surrounding the CC. But this is messy. Like, Clem, of course, will be fine. But that is a lost bit of mining time here. And while he does kill a bunch of Zerglings for his troubles, the Reaper had to come all the way back too. Right from the get-go, a bit of a curveball thrown right here by Ragnarok, but not a terrible position here for Clem by any stretch of the imagination. He actually fires up a 3rd command center immediately too after killing those Zerglings. Now what are we gonna do, Ragnarok? He actually did pull out of gas for a little bit, but never started up a 3rd hatch. Now he's added the drones back into the gas, and I guess we'll go into a 3rd hatch and probably a lair? No, he starts up a 2nd gas. Okay. Dude, Ragnarok really has been reinventing himself. Like, his entire playstyle is so different. Lair indeed gets fired up. I would imagine we're still going into a 3rd. Yeah, he will be making one here eventually, but this is so much later than what we normally see. Clem is checking all of the alternative locations. Just making sure that there is no sneaky hatch that he doesn't know about. Just by seeing the timing of this hatch, Clem is very likely going to be able to put 1 and 1 together. that once more we have some sort of 2-base lair opener here. So where do we take this game? It's a quick Baneling Nest. Is this once more going to be a Spire opener? Zerglings really wanted to go in. Not going to happen. Good defense right there for Clem, who's marching around here with those units of his. He wants to dive a little bit deeper. Just seeing the gas started up like that is nice. Getting a couple of drones killed over here would also be sweet. It's a Roach Warren, by the way. Wait, did he cancel the Baneling Nest? Oh yeah, he canceled the Baneling Nest here in order to go Roach Warren and Hydra Den. Now he cancels the Hydra Den. Wait, no, he cancels the Roach Warren, starts up an Evo Chamber, and we end up playing Hydras with +1 armor? Is that what we're ultimately going for here? So we have now canceled both a Roach Warren as well as a Baneling Nest. Off of a quick lair, but by no means the fastest possible lair. Yeah. This is ultimately leading to that game that I keep thinking of, that Cyril played against Clem not too long ago. It was on Tourmaline in an important tournament match. And Cyril ended up completely confusing me there for a moment, but also evidently Clem, by going for a Hydra timing attack. Now, Hydralisk timing attacks in 2026 are extremely rare. I haven't seen them in a long time. Clem, since then, though, has clearly been studying the build. Yeah, and he knows how to deal with it. Even though Hydras are decent, they're expensive. And while they do have the potential to end the game... Medevac! Ah! Whoa, Brenda's sleeping on the job. That should have been a kill. Even though all of this has been a little bit messy, I'm still liking this position for Clem a ton. Just seeing this type of army being produced right now is a massive deal. Saving the medevac there is also really nice. Okay. So, Ragnarok trying his best to play some mind games. Ultimately, it did not work out. So what are we doing now? Are we gonna try and wiggle our way out of it? Infestation Pit coming up. Second Evo Chamber also coming. Are we actually trying to make a transition to Lurkers? Is that what we're... But if you want to play Lurkers, you do need like 4 bases and, well, at least 7 gases, preferably 8. Okay. Now, if there ever was a perfect opportunity for Clem to try and win with like an 8 Rex or something along those lines, it would be this game. This game has been very funky here from Ragnarok, and I feel like this is the perfect opportunity for Terran to try and do something hyper-aggressive. Not going to be the case, though. Clem knows what the map score in this particular series is like. He doesn't want to risk it for the biscuit, right? He doesn't want to just take a chance and hope to get lucky. Second factory it is indeed, and I'm assuming we're going to be seeing a 4th command center fired up here in just a moment. +2 armor coming. 3 infestors also added into the mix. No hive? Yeah, I think Lurkers is a good idea, but you really do need Microbial Shroud. My god. So, real quick. If you haven't watched a ton of StarCraft over the last, like, year or so, right? Microbial Shroud is an extremely rare upgrade. It did get buffed. What's kind of funny is that, like, when I explain it to you, it sounds like such a powerful research, right? So, Microbial Shroud reduces the damage that you take from flying units by 50%, and the buff they added, it also reduces the damage you take from all ranged units by 50%. Meaning that when you throw it onto your own Hydralisks, now your Hydras take 50% damage from siege tanks, marines, and all the rest of it. And even then, this research is never made. It's never done. It's extremely rare. So, for Ragnarok to go for it right now is curious enough. We are going Lurkers, by the way, on the back of this. Good defense right here for Clem. I think for Clem it's important here to keep the pressure up. I don't believe you really want to be giving this Zerg too much wiggle room, because Ragnarok has been a very slippery Zerg thus far in this series. The main problem you run into with Microbial Shroud is that it's very expensive as far as the gas spending goes. Or sorry, well, also the gas spending, but the energy spending on the Infestor goes. And it takes a long time to actually get the upgrade out. So the research takes a long while. Really, like, you kind of have to make the choice right now. Do I want to go Fungal Growth or do I want to go Microbial Shroud? This will likely be decided with the next engagement. Lurkers are coming now, but Clem wants to tighten the noose right here. These are Lair Tech Lurkers for the time being. Ranged upgrade will be finishing Seismic Spines for those Lurkers in a moment. It's very marine heavy though. Fungal is a really scary thing to do. More siege tanks being brought to the front lines. You may need to Microbial Shroud your own Lurkers here, just to make them take less damage from the siege tanks. Yeah, Clem is really trying to tighten the noose here. He's trying to see if he can choke his opponent out. This is apparently the moment that Ragnarok decides to commit. There's the Microbial Shrouds going down. The siege tanks will get destroyed. He's creating a path. My god, big Lurker hit as well. Or big Fungal hit, rather, as well. But ultimately, Clem stands his ground, and it's decent-ish, sort of. My god, it's an absolute bloodbath. Dude, I don't know what Ragnarok has been up to lately, but I'm loving it, man. I don't know how he's been changing the game, really. I don't know if necessarily this match is going his direction. I still prefer this position right here for Clem. But Ragnarok has been cooking up something special. That was a really strange fight over here in this choke point. I've seen a lot of StarCraft, but nothing quite that looks like that. Pretty crazy. Lurkers going in for a counterattack now. Liberators are here. Big Zerg run by as well on the left, though, in the meantime. Some SCVs did end up dying over in that spot. The siege tank count is big. Yeah, I think it's time to back up. So Clem is getting some ghosts going now, which is 100% the right call. Mom, can I have some Dark Swarm? Honey, we have Dark Swarm at home. Dark Swarm at home. Right? You can make a very easy meme here for the Microbial Shroud research. It may not be quite as powerful as Dark Swarm from StarCraft Brood War, but it's still pretty darn good. And I feel like it's one of those slow burns, you know? I feel like it's one of those upgrades. One of those abilities that we will see more moving forward. We may even see a buff at some point to it. I wouldn't be surprised. Microbial Shrouds. Look at it. He's setting up Microbial Shroud and then walking the Lurkers into it. Again, I don't know if this game is good for Ragnarok, but I do like what he's doing. Cheeky little Lurker over here on the left. Looks like the command center actually died over here. So many SCVs are falling. 15 confirmed kills on it, bad boy, right over here. That one Lurker here is achieving a ton. Yeah, Marine drop. It ended up killing a single hatchery over at this spot on the map, but there's still 4 bases up and running here for Rag. You know what? He may actually be making this work. This is sketchy, though. Why is he morphing them in over here? My god. Keep in mind that Clem, of course, does not have nearly as many scans as he would like to. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Nice push right here by Clem. Yep, forcing the council on so many Lurkers that were just seconds away from being done. Gets 3 of those Infestor sniped as well before they head home. Big deal. Bunch of Hydras now in the middle of the map, also caught with their pants down. I mean, Hydras don't even wear pants. How would you even make pants for a Hydralisk? Okay, let's not talk about that. Zergling run by yet again, but this has been... After Ragnarok almost was fine again, I think a bit of a disaster. Maybe this Zergling run by can even the odds some more, but Clem is pushing forward. And the problem is that there's no Lurkers anymore. Oh, dude, Ragnarok was cooking up something real special. Good fungal over here, but does he have the numbers? Drones now need to be pulled out as well. Hydras wanted to dash behind the drones so they could tank at least some of the damage. But I think the numbers are too good. And Clem is gonna now get a point on the scoreboard. GG. Oh no. It's this map. So this map is cool. Layout-wise, I think it's excellent. However, the name. It's actually not been picked very often in the tournament in general, but the name of this map is just terrible. We find ourselves on the map...
Rorschach.
Rorschach. Right. Look, it's cool. Science. I love ink splatters as much as the next guy, but do we really need to be naming our maps? I don't like it. No, this is the Giganatha, or the Missing You Today, of the currently ongoing Team Liquid map contest. And while I think the map layout is really nice, the couple of games I've seen on this map are really sweet. The map name, man. I can't get over it. Is it rude to write off a map just because of its name alone? Look, we have so many great maps to choose from that aren't named stupidly. Maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh. Alright. Anyways. That was a really spicy game from Ragnarok. And it almost worked. But then he decided, no, we're gonna go ahead and build lurkers right next to my opponent's third. I'm actually surprised he ended up killing the third in the first place. He's once more, by the way, opening up with a pool first. You know, maybe SHIN did that on purpose, just so we can see more matches. Do you think that could be it? Maybe he's playing it for the fans. Not for the win, but for the fans. Surely he's doing it for us. Let's assume our ego, or our egos rather, that big, that he's doing it just for us alone. SCV Scout will reveal that indeed this is a pool first opener yet again. Yeah, many people would say that you can't choose your name, but I mean, as a map maker, you quite literally do choose the name of the map. Rorschach. 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 Look, it's real easy for all the German people watching this, okay? But for all of us non-Germans, für die deutsche Leute, das ist easy. Aber mein Deutsch nicht so gut. I did have German in school for many years, but these days I mostly limit myself to ordering dinner and then maybe a beer in German. That's yeah. I mean, to be fair, do you need anything else? What else do I need to know of the German language than being able to buy dinner and beer? That's I think that covers at least about 90% of the things that I need. I was actually really bad at languages in school. I've mentioned this before, but I almost failed once upon a time because I wasn't good at languages. Now, admittedly, because nobody in the world speaks Dutch other than the Dutch, we do get about 17 languages in school here. The irony, of course, being that I, you know, make a living speaking English these days. Anyhow. What always got me with German is der, die, das. This is basically the German equivalent for the word the. So you have to figure out what quote-unquote gender a word has to figure out which of those you use. And the only way is to just learn every noun. Just learn all the nouns and figure out which word is appropriate. Now, we do the same thing as well in Dutch. We have de and het is what we use over here. If you say the wrong the, you do sound like a bit of a loser. Look, that's just how it is, okay? Nobody in the Netherlands would call het fiets, which is what, like, the bicycle, but using the word the wrong. Like, I can't make sense of it either, okay? It's just kind of the way that it is. I don't know. I don't know why some of them are wrong and some of them are correct. Zergling run by the way, in the natural expansion right now. Hold up, I can yap about this for ages, but wait a second. Did Ragnarok just run in with Zerglings and kill the entire base here of the Terran? Wait up right now. Hellions have to go back home. Rag starts up a hatchery that he turned into a lair over at the third. This is not microed optimally, but it's so much damage done. Wait a second, Clem just died. Clem just 13 SCVs. Wait a second. That little Zergling run by. Absolutely disastrous. That's it. Man, imagine like 2 more Zerglings here. I think the entire mineral line would have disappeared by the time that the reinforcements would have come out there. The Hellions drove back home. Yeah. He's not dead, but it's a very significant step backwards right now. What's really nice here for Clem is these yellow mining machines. But he has his work cut out for him right now. Like, it's very clear what needs to be done. Couple drones over at the third base do end up falling. Why did we make the lair over here? I don't know. I guess it's technically the safest base. Well, getting a snipe on his hedge would be big. Oh, he gets it. Yeah, he gets it. Okay. In isolation, one of those plays is not good enough, but getting a handful of drones, delaying the fourth, it does add up. My main concern now is when SHIN goes across the map with another timing attack, and it's imminent. Like, we're going roach speed, we're going +1, we're making a load of roaches now. We've done this before in previous games. I think SHIN is just about to send it. Income-wise has been a little bit of a roller coaster, but you can see even with mules mining, Zerg has still been ahead economically. Ooh, Ragnarok, man. This guy is crazy lately. Look at him. He just snuck out a hatchery at the 12 o'clock position. Ay, ay, ay. What a gamer. Absolute gamer. I've had actually some people complain that Zerg is like a little too one-dimensional lately. Like I've had some people complain that Zerg is just not really playable and it's really only Serral and yada yada yada. Whatever, man. But Ragnarok at the very least is just... It's been so much fun. He's just found another way to play. This is the type of playstyle that, in theory, if StarCraft was a spreadsheet, it wouldn't really make sense. But he's consistently winning against the very best players in the world. The drone transfer, man, heading straight up north. That is the exact number of drones to fully saturate it, and now we're pushing as well at the front lines. Ragnarok trying to see if he can potentially obtain the victory here. Yeah, I was going to say, that's a lot of Marines, man. That is a lot of Marines. More and more roaches are coming across. I don't think this is as good as it was in the first game of this series. That's plenty of Marines. They have 1-1 upgrades too, which makes a huge difference. Ragnarok maybe overextending a little bit here. Stutter step micro here from Clem is, of course, to be expected. He's very good at that sort of thing. That's a lot of dead Ravagers. Okay. And maybe this is because of the, Oh, he just showed a couple roaches coming in from the 12 o'clock. Why in the world are they coming in from the 12 o'clock? Okay. Yeah, he cancels that additional one over there. He does not want to accidentally show his opponent anything else. Man, Ragnarok might still be okay. Just because of this base here up north. It was a free kill. Contamination? Really? Did Rag just make a bunch of overseers just to be able to contaminate the factory? We don't see this ability, man. This is like even more rare than Microbial Shroud. Yeah, he just did it again. So this halts production on the structure. Pretty good, huh? There is a healing shrine, by the way, over at the bottom. Man, Clem should go ahead and kill this base up north, but it's not even really crossing his mind. He's a little afraid right now of more infestors funneling his army. Still though, yeah, now suddenly the roach numbers are good. He walks into his own corrosive bile. +1 attack is well done right now for those roaches. It does make a big difference. Man, this entire game is so weird now. I love it. Okay. 2-2 though has been started up here for Clem. Ragnarok not yet producing out of his second Evo chamber for a while here. Siege tanks in the back. Oh, is he gonna commit? He is going to commit. What a weird match. This entire series has been so wacky. I love it. That tank is gonna die, but I think it's still okay enough here, though, for the Terran. Like, Marine Marauder is just so cost-effective. Those medevacs are completely uncontested as well, which is what is allowing, yeah, Clem so much staying power in this game. Those medevacs are really the MVPs. Most of them still have a little bit of juice remaining, but that was just about right here for Clem. He could not have sustained that for much longer. And now he's got 2-2 finishing, so is he going to be able to actually withstand the temptation here of just pushing through yet again? Man, we really need the +2 attack here for Ragnarok. This game, by the way, does show you how strong those mules really are. Like, not that long ago, Clem's economy was in the gutter. But it's actually totally playable again, even with a gold base mining here up north. Did he, by the way, not see it? My god, the Liberators just got all the way over here to this side of the map, and they somehow... They never passed by the creep over here in this area. That's kind of crazy. I think Clem may just stumble upon it in just a moment, though. This game would have already been in the bag. Brenda! You had one job, man! Why are you... You're making it so obvious. Yeah, I don't think Clem has really played a lot of games on this map. It's not really been a popular pick during the TLMC, it seems, and... Corrosive Balls here onto the libs. They're stacked. Yep, that's 2 of them falling immediately. It's an extremely Ravager-heavy army, though. Ragnarok just reinforcing this with so many roaches. We're back to Corrosive Biling the orbital command, by the way. Okay, now the Ravagers have nothing protecting them anymore. And with all of them going down, yeah, I really like this spot better now for Clem. Okay, apparently Ragnarok agrees. It's kind of like losing your medevacs or your sentries or whatever. Like, in a way, the Ravagers just need to be sustained. And, well, that means that we are going to game number 6. Next up, we find ourselves on Exark. Do we take the tunnel back home? We do take the tunnel back home. Speed boost. Exark, in case you haven't seen it before, is a 4-player map that has tunnels around the outside, around the outside, around the outside. And you can use them only with workers. Now, apparently, though, we're not going to be sending it all the way towards the bottom right. The Reaper went to the bottom left first, SCV to the top right, and I guess that through the power and the process of elimination, Clem has figured it out. What? What was that? Couple things. That previous game. The fact that Clem won that without even knowing that the gold base was taken for like the last 5 minutes is kind of nuts. Secondly, the fact that Ragnarok did not win that game after successfully taking the gold and then simultaneously also reducing his opponent's worker count by like half early on is also pretty crazy. I do think, though, that we have now arrived at the part in the series where the players are indeed human. Yeah. Believe it or not, they may be feeling this thing called fatigue. Like, that Reaper grenade was really ambitious. Lair coming up yet again here for Rag. This map is massive. I think on the really large maps, you do really like to see Muta play, especially. But, I mean, Muta play is a bit of a... It's a bit of a tricky thing to pull off when you're like an hour plus into a match. So Clem actually assumed in the previous game that he was playing against a full base list the entire time. He must have been wondering where in the world those roaches came from, but This map is kind of neat, by the way, because there's also these skinny mineral fields. So on previous maps with skinny mineral fields, you always have to mine out the mineral fields first before you can actually take the base there. But there's also a worker-only path right over here next to it. So you can very quickly send a drone down. Similar to those tunnels around the outside of the map. Reapers cannot get across. Queens cannot get across. Only after those mineral fields are mined out. Clem is checking. He will now see. Okay, base at the bottom not taken. Is this a 2-base opener yet again? It is indeed. Now with a 3rd hatchery, though. Spire is now being built inside of the main base. As Clem begins the Great Wall here. I really like this map. I don't know if it's any good, but I do like it. This is one of those maps that I feel like should be part of the map pool, but it may be proven to be absolutely horrid. Win rate wise for one win rate. God, win rate wise. There we go. It's a bit of a tongue twister. Try and say that 3 times fast. Like it may end up being horrible for one of the 3 races, but I think visually and the way that the maps are laid out and the bases are laid out is really neat. This is a scary medevac drop, man. Yeah, there's no banelings, no roaches. Ragnarok is making a load of overlords, but he was just low on links here. Wait a second. If you're going a Muta build, this is just about perfect for Clem. Really lovely attack here for the Frenchman. He was not meaning to deal this much damage. This is a very normal move out. This is really just him testing the waters a little bit. And yeah, this is that fatigue now settling in. That's a full kill on a 3rd. That's the 3rd base of Ragnarok. Keep in mind, this series started off with a 3-0 advantage for Ragnarok. The games since then have been bloody. They've been messy. This game is clean, though, here for Clem. Big mistake here from Ragnarok. Yeah, he's going to clean this up eventually, but I mean, he's playing 2 bases now, like genuine 2-base Muta. That means there's no freaking gas going in. Can barely afford Baneling speed. Okay. Now, it's been a committed opener here from Clem, right? So, it's not a triple CC build like we have been seeing most of the time, which is why I guess Ragnarok here was caught off guard. Now a 3rd command center is being added into the mix. But Ragnarok basically just assumed that Clem would be playing the same thing over and over and over again, and this is really Clem mixing things up a little now. Focusing on a lot of production on 2 CCs, adding on additional structures, so triple barracks, 1-1. It's a lot more committed. You can't afford a 3rd command center nearly as quickly, but it will give you way more army. Couple of banelings here, but no baneling speed. Huh. Yeah, this game is actually, unless we get a good detonation on slow banelings. Oh my god, what in the world was that, man? That was messy from the both of them. Wait a second. Wait a second. Did Ragnarok just still clean this up? There was one baneling hugging those Marines for a while. Very clumsy. It's almost like Ragnarok couldn't believe it himself, and then Clem kind of gave up on it already? That was like a second there where they were hugging. I think Ragnarok is still super dead here, though. Yeah. Weird. Very strange exchange here. Considering how crisp the micro was earlier on in this series. Wow, GG gets cold. Yeah, I think the players are tired, and we are going to the rubber match. And that means it all comes down to this. The gloves are now officially off. Both players are tired. Both players are messed up. But they have to play one more game for all the marbles. Defender's Lab, a pretty big map as well. Takes a while to get across this one. There are some speed up circles. I think at this point the players would probably prefer some slowdown circles instead. Okay. So, knowing what we now know, right? Do you just, like, if you know you're tired, do you just go for one all-in? Do you take a moment in between games to, like, get up out of your chair, maybe walk around for a few minutes? God forbid, maybe go outside and, you know, sniff some fresh air for about 30 seconds? What do you do? What's the build? I don't know if the players actually took a little bit of time in between. In my experience, the players don't want to take any time. The players just want to go, go, go. They don't want to be relaxing. They just want to be swapping from one game into the next. Now, obviously, you are allowed breaks. For many of the official broadcasts at like offline tournaments, there's of course scheduled ad breaks in between the games. So the players are forced to take breaks. But for online tournaments, this particular one is hosted by Wardy. Well, Wardy will be putting ad breaks on anyways. There's a good chance that there will be the absolute shortest break possible. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the players just go from one game into the next. Because there's also something about like losing your focus, right? Like if you... I mean, the last couple games haven't been too focused, I don't think, from the both of them. But if you, yeah, get up, there's also a chance that you just kind of lose your perspective a little bit. Okay. Very normal start here, although we are not going to build up a Marine. SCV Scout, into Reaper, and then straight into a Reactor right here for Clem. The norm is to go for a single Marine before you add on the Reactor. It is something worth noting. Second Barracks as well on the back. Okay, Clem has got something aggressive, I think, lined up here, because otherwise you wouldn't really be cutting this corner. It's risky, especially against the Zerg, who likes to go for a pool first build, which I think Ragnarok did 3 out of the 6 games we've seen so far. Not in this one, though, so Clem is going to be okay. And I guess that's why the SCV Scout was sent across to confirm whether or not that would be a problem. Yet again, no triple hatchery opener here for Ragnarok. Yet again, he did pull out of gas, but only with a single worker, so this is a bit odd. Normally, you either pull out all 3, none, or 1. But, yeah, this does feel a little bit funky. Or 2, rather. You wouldn't, like, just pull out 1. It's a bit weird. Factory right now on the back of this as well. Probably a starport, stim pack, all the rest of it. Are we just going for a good old 16 Marine drop? Is that what we're doing here? 16 Marine drops have been out of the meta for so long, but like only just barely. It's a good enough build, but it's by no means the best. Like, it's one of those builds that has gotten weaker over time because the Terrans, in a way, kind of like played themselves a little bit. They overplayed this build order for many years. And then, yeah, they've effectively trained their opponents to be good at defending it. Now, sometimes, when you don't see a build in the rotation for some time, the opponents are kind of confused by it for just a moment, and they don't quite remember the exact way to deal with it. But the thing is, of course, that the Zerg meta has shifted a ton as well, so... a 16 Marine opener against a Roach build? I don't know if I like this for Clem. Extra gases right now coming up. Lair is already nearly done as Ragnarok yet again is opening up with a, well, third hatchery, but a delayed one. It's yet again a very quick lair. We're gonna do all the gases. Okay. Evo chamber here. I would imagine instant Roach speed as soon as the lair is done. Overseer Scout, by the way, already coming up. I like the Overseer Scout, but I'm a little bit conflicted, because immediately this is, of course, going to tell Clem that there is a lair. Like, Clem will see right now that there is a lair done. It's the perfect scout for Rag, sure. He now knows roughly what he's playing against. I mean, the timing here of the Metavex is a big tell. It's really the only thing that makes sense. Accidental SCV pickup. Now the third CC starts up. Okay, so this Overseer is going to die. But it died for the swarm. It died doing what it loves, okay? It's got a lot of eyeballs. It got to check a couple of those units out. Clem accidentally not filling one of the seats here. Maybe there's like one business seat or something on this this medevac. The one, I don't know, captain in charge of this this mission. I'm not sure. Should be an easy cleanup though for Rag. Roaches are just way better than Marines at this point in the game. Ragnarok made an Evo chamber, but never researched from it. Big mistake. He should have gone +1 armor a while ago. Alternative choice, or choice here for the Zerg, is just to make an extra few Ravagers, I guess, but... messy micro here. Yeah. Nice control from Clem. Not so much here from Rag. Engineering Bay also pretty late here, though, for Clem. So both of the players here are really feeling the heat. I think, though, it's on purpose from Ragnarok. He's effectively turning this into an all-in. He's going to commit now. This is a roach speed attack. Clem needs to be going home ASAP with those medevacs. Ooh, this is nice, though, here for the Frenchman. Gets a Ravager. Yep, that's one Ravager down. A couple of siege tanks over here. They're gonna get biled. Cool guys don't look at explosions. That was actually a very cool way to kill those medevacs. You see that? Jeez, that's the coolest kill in a couple, or medevacs, sorry, Widow Mines here, that I've seen in a bit. Big supply book incoming, though, for Clem. Yep, so many depots full. One way, though, to solve that problem here by Terran is fighting. You'll open up some supply that way. So many units available, though, for Ragnarok, who's shoving forward right now. He's trying to break open the natural expansion of Clem, but it's not going to happen at this rate. The Marines and Marauder now are standing their ground. Medevacs up in the air dealing so much damage. Ragnarok is droning. He was hoping that this was going to be enough. Instead, he has to drone up. Both players decide to fire up some upgrades. Infestation Pit coming up too, but it almost feels like a reluctant Infestation Pit. Infestors here, a Hive Tech. It's all nice. It's all powerful, but it does make the game so much more complex. New hatchery at the bottom of the map. New command center landed as well. Single medevac will be sailing across. Man, these games are so difficult to predict. This is one of the reasons, by the way, why a lot of pro gamers don't necessarily like playing best of sevens very much. It's just mentally draining. Do you think you benefit if you are in your 20s for playing a long series like this? Clem definitely a bunch of years younger than Ragnarok. It definitely depends on how much sleep, caffeine, and all the rest of it you've had. Infestors coming up. 4th hatchery and 5th hatchery here, building simultaneously. Hive together with a Baneling Nest too. So Ragnarok making the transition towards a longer game. Is Clem gonna do the same thing as well? He has not yet really made up his mind yet. We haven't yet seen a 2nd factory. No 4th command center. No choices as far as the additional barracks go. We do now see a delayed armory, though. This thing was already supposed to be done, so Clem can go straight into 2-2. I don't think you can really play an 8-Rex on the back of this, no. We're going to set a 4th command center now, and I'm assuming a 2nd factory. It's important to not forget about it. Fungal. Big fungal. Big fungal. Big fungal. Chain fungal as well. Uy. 3 drones end up dying in the meantime at the bottom of the map, as there is a secondary attack going on as well. Good bit of damage being done by those bad boys. Liberator here being a nuisance. A single kill on that one. Medevac is going to provide vision to keep fishing for additional hits. Brenda goes in around the side. Corrosive Bowels missed, I think. Yeah. Well, there's enough queens, though. In the meantime, we have continued aggression here, too. And Ragnarok is dropping the ball. Like, he had all the fancy abilities. He's dealing with all the tricky things really well. But then the basic stuff is problematic. I think both players are starting to fall asleep. At the very least, they're feeling the heat. But it's Clem who's coming out ahead here. 44 drones. With just some really basic, very mundane Terran attacks. Oh my god, I only just now realized Clem actually never fired up the +1 infantry armor. That should have been researching a while ago already. Okay, so what do we do now? Clem is late on upgrades, but he did build a 4th command center. Clem never added on a 2nd factory, by the way, which is another oversight. He's adding on the additional Rexes here rather than a 2nd factory. I think he probably forgot. Same for that upgrade that we noticed earlier. Ragnarok, though, loses so much of his economy, but he did go up to a quick hive. So even though some things are going wrong, other things are going right. Are pro gamers human? Oh, you can't hide in the corner, man. You can use your boosty, but not gonna happen on Defender's Lab. I'm a little afraid for the Ultralisk situation here. Clem does not have a good answer against Ultras. That's where your upgrades getting delayed really kicks in. Yeah, +3 armor fired up here pretty early on for Rag. Zergling run by at least considered. But Clem does have 4 bases up. And this is Ragnarok on, yeah, 5 hatcheries, but only 66 drones. Clem really needs to fire up the +2 and +3 immediately. Like, as soon as he realizes that these upgrades are done. Especially the +3 attack is big. Marauder count is already growing, though, which I like. That's, I guess, because of the roaches at the very beginning of this game, and still a lot of them being out right now. It's going to be a lot better against Ultras. Clem has finished up his double upgrades, but he has not yet fired up the next set of them. It's important for him to be all over that. Fires up new command centers instead. Wait a second, are we finally going above, like, 4 command centers? Right now? After, like, an hour and a half of playing? That's when we go into mass command center territory? Ultras are kind of derpy here, though. They're pushing around the Ravagers. Nice micro here by Clem. Leaving the Marauders in the front, siege tanks in the back. Marines trying to shoot over the shoulders of those Marauders. The Infestors are gone, and with it, the hatchery will also die. Just Ravagers really remaining right now. Maybe a bit of an overextension here from Clem, who will lose the siege tanks. Drop in the meantime still going on over here as well on the left. Clem has still not fired up the engineering bay upgrades. He's got the money for it, man. We need to get those upgrades going ASAP. Medevac dies here to Queens from the natural. Dude, what a mess. I kind of love it. It feels mean to enjoy this, you know? It's like, ha, look at these guys being tired. Ha, I wonder who's worse. Right? Like, it feels a bit rude. But also, it's highly entertaining. So, what am I going to do? Oh, no. No, 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 don't give it up now. Okay, he does notice there at the last possible second. I don't think that the medevac is going to be able to go home. That's both spore crawlers fired at the same time. Reinforcing group of Marines and will indeed force the cancel on that hatchery at the bottom. There's a fungal available yet again. Yep, it's a good fungal. The upgrades are nice. Oh my lord, that Widowmine dealing more friendly fire than anything else. At the very least is going to kill the Infestor as well on its way out. Siege tanks, okay, will die here, but Clem at the same time is pushing through the speed up circle, and he's trying to see if he can get more damage done. Another fungal coming out of nowhere. Still though, there's no protection anymore for those Ravagers, so Clem decides to pull the trigger and continues fighting. GG gets cold. And would you believe it? After falling behind 3-0 in a best-of-7 series, Clem completes the reverse sweep. He ends up getting the job done and takes out Ragnarok 4-3. My god. That's crazy. These last couple of games were messy as well. That's like one of those victories that Clem will be like reasonably happy with, but both of these players know they can play so much better. Ultimately, though, the only thing that matters is the end result. And it's Clem who moves on in the tournament. GG.